What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here again today to talk about another playoff series review that finished last night. So, you had Edmonton and Vegas last night. Vegas takes hold of that series. Then you had Florida and Toronto, which Florida, I was worried if Florida, what would happen if they didn't win last night's game, but we'll get into it. So, Florida takes the series in 5 against Toronto. I'd argue another upset. Florida was an 8th seed. They did win the President's Trophy last year, so I expected them to not be an easy out. But here they are in the conference final for the first time since 1996. And they just keep rolling. Ever since they've only lost one game since game 3 against Boston. Or game 4 against Boston, when they went down 3-1. They won game 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3. So they won 6 in a row. Lost game 4 and have won game 5 now. So they've won 7 out of their last 8 games. And we'll see how they go against Carolina. The series preview will be out after this round is over. But let's get into the games. I would say this was the closest series we have seen so far, especially in the second round. Game 1, 4-2 Florida. That's the only game that will be decided by more than one goal, and that's in Toronto. And then Game 2, they win in Toronto again, 3-2. Game 3, they go home to Florida, and they win 3-2 in overtime. And in Game 4, I thought played better than Toronto, but Toronto played desperate. They win that game 2-1. Joseph Woll becomes a hero for the one game. And then, of course, Samsonov gets hurt in Game 3, but yeah. And then Game 5, Florida closes it out in overtime, 3-2 against Toronto. And, of course, there was the controversial Riley no-goal. There was, I'd say, the Toronto comeback. And I was worried if Toronto had won this game that Toronto would probably win the series. Florida is a scrappy team, and the scrappy teams are the ones that are staying in at this playoffs. You see Dallas, you see Seattle, you see Vegas is up against Edmonton. Edmonton is not as much of a scrappy team. So, come on, not really. Carolina is kind of half and half. They got some scrappiness to them, but they've also got the skill portion. And then you have, let me go through the teams here. New Jersey wasn't a scrappy team very much. They're out. Dallas, Seattle, yes. Vegas, yes. Don't want to... I think I got everyone that was still in. But, yeah. So Florida takes this series in 5. And the goals on the series, there's not that many scored. 14-10. That's probably one of the lowest scores we've had this entire playoffs in terms of the games. So let's go through the point leaders. For Florida, Tkachuk, no goals, 5 assists, 5 points. Ekblad, 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. Duclair, 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. Blackhawks legend right there. Verhaeghe, 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points. And on the Toronto side is where it gets interesting. Riley, great series out of him. He looked amazing in this year's playoffs. And it's funny because in the regular season he was abysmal. He was unplayable in the regular season, and now he comes in the playoffs and he's just him. 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. Marner, 1 goal, 2 assists, 3 points. Nylander, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3 points. These were all in the last 3 games of the series. They did not happen in games 1 or 2, which were in Toronto. Speaking of Toronto, they had only won 1 game at home in this playoffs. They went 1-5. They won game 2 against Tampa at home. They lost game 1 against Tampa at home. They lost game 5 against Tampa at home. They lost game 1, 2, and 5 against Florida in this series at home. So home ice advantage once again proving me right. It doesn't matter, and I'm gonna keep until you get such sufficient evidence that it matters. I'm tracking every year myself the evidence to see like what the percentage is. Currently, it sits at 54% of that home ice advantage wins. So it's 54% of the time home ice teams win, and 46% of the time away teams win. So at this point, there is not statistically significant evidence that there is a difference. As an AP Stats student, just roll with me on that one. Anyway, see, there's some names missing on the board, you can probably tell. Matthews, Tavares, and honestly, O'Reilly played fine. I think O'Reilly, I thought he had 3 points, but I really don't want to check. I don't want to pull up the thing. O'Reilly would definitely be 4th on this list. O'Reilly was fine in this series. Matthews doesn't have a goal. He has 2 assists. Tavares doesn't get a point until Game 5 where he has 1 assist. And honestly, the acquisitions were the ones that I thought played the best role. Achari was playing great. Lafferty was good in the series. Camp, of course, well, he's not an acquisition, but former Blackhawk. Gustafson scored a goal and had an assist. Lafferty, Camp, Gustafson, and McCabe, the former Blackhawks, all had 2 points each. So they were producing, and they're not even like top role players. Well, Toronto is not. As I was watching the Steve Dangle video earlier this morning, and the questions are whether they're going to blow it up, what they're going to do this offseason. Is Keefe and Dubas going to stay around? Is Shanahan even going to stay around? What is going to happen to this team? I'm going to be honest. I don't see anything wrong with this team. This team on paper should be winning, and they're not, and they haven't won. They went from winning 3 games in a playoff series to winning 5 games in entire playoffs, and you need 16 to win. Losing in 5, you might as well. It's kind of so. It's basically losing. It's basically getting swept. It's like it really doesn't make a difference whether you lose in the first round, second round. You're barely making any difference, and it's been 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. It's been 7 years of the Matthews and Marner, Nylander era. Tavares was in there for 5 of those years. And they've won 1 game in the second round in that entire time. Of course, they won their first second-round game since 2004, so that buffoons off their chest. When was the last time they were in the conference final then? 2002. So now people are going to keep track of that. I guarantee it. Florida came out and they played their best that they've played all year. Simple as that. You're usually an offense go-get-'em team, and they were able to slow down the game here, and they were able to benefit from it. Now we have an all-Southeast conference final, and I'm all for it. Carolina and Florida. I think that should be a fun series. It's going to be Florida, I think, trying to move the offense, and Carolina kind of shutting them down. We'll get into it when we do the preview, but we still got the West to watch. You got Dallas-Seattle tonight, Game 6, with Dallas with a 3-2 series lead, and then you have Vegas-Edmonton tomorrow night with Vegas with a 3-2 series lead. So we'll see if any Game 7s come out of there. Other than that, that's going to be all I have for you guys in this one. Tell me down below what you think about Toronto in this. Tell me down below what you think about Florida in this. Can Florida really go all the way? Or can I really want to wear a Florida jersey, but I just woke up and I just didn't want to mess up. I got to shower and do all that stuff. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.